How's Grayson looking? What's your feeling on him for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think he's made a lot of progress. I've been kind of paying attention to him the last few days. I think he's doing a pretty good job back there. He might not be 100%, but he's getting pretty close. So it's good news for us that he can go in the game. Whether he starts or not is to be determined. But he can play now. We had a few games there where he just couldn't go in, and now he can. So we're a little bit better because of that.
He tells us he's 100%.
Well, that's good. I'm glad he's saying it. He's saying the right things anyway.
Can you tell a difference in this team's mindset and approach as opposed to the last two teams you had here?
Not a whole lot. You know, we still got the cast of characters that were here before, the older guys, and Roth and Price and Marzilli, Walker, Matthews. Those guys sort of set the tone for everything else. So it's pretty much the same, I think.
Is it good for you that you can kind of rely on those guys that have been here before to kind of coach up the younger guys? And maybe does it take a little bit off of you that you don't have to do that?
I think that's very important regardless of the year, that if you've got some older guys that have taken ownership and they'll run your team, it makes it a lot easier for the coaches. I don't think that coaches can do it alone. If you don't have that kind of group of players that can take that leading role with your younger guys, and it's a more difficult challenge. And these guys have done a super job.
This morning, Coach O'Sullivan said pretty much what you said, which is there are no secrets here. What do you do to get the edge on when teams are so familiar?
Well, I don't think that there is any particular edge. They may be better than us as far as talent is concerned. They're the #1 seed. They're the top-ranked team in the country. We know we're going to have to play really well. We're the underdogs, but it's still baseball at the end of the day. And if we can get one to fall or get a bloop or something and get a tremendous pitching performance from Roth, then our chances are better. But you can't go into a game with the Gators and not be at your best and expect to win. That's what we're going to try to do.
Grayson would be able to catch, though, tomorrow if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'm comfortable enough now with his bullpen work and watching him crouch a little bit that he's okay to go back there. There were a few games I didn't think he could do it when he said, I think I'll be okay, but I watched him and he didn't seem to squat good enough. But I think he's at that point now.
You talked about those older guys, and this experience can be kind of overwhelming because it's such a unique thing. How much have they helped the older guys here by not being overwhelmed by all that's going on?
Well, I think that's huge. I think that, like a lot of times players will take on the personality of their coach. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not. But in this case, they take on the personality of their leaders, and that's the older guys. And they're pretty good. Just talking to Dantzler and pancaking those guys, they're having fun. So that means they're comfortable, and that's all you can do. You're not gonna play any better for sure if you have a lot of anxiety and your nerves are somewhere they shouldn't be. You just got to go have some fun and play some baseball.
On the eve of your first game this year, how do you feel compared to your previous trips here the day before? Is there anything different for you?
Well, it feels a little bit different than the first time I was here. The first time I was here, I think I was, much like sometimes with new players and guys that haven't been here before, you kind of got the big eyes and you're a little bit more anxious than you should be. And then we were here a couple of times, and I was more comfortable. Some of these guys are more comfortable. And so I think I'm sort of at the same place. I know the challenges are great. You're playing so many good teams, and we're starting off with the best ones. So that's all you can do, be ready to go, and hopefully it works out well.
How about no more questions about why you can't win the first game out here?
Well, you may be saying, here you go again. Who knows? But it's just as great. It's a College World Series, and 8 teams are here, and it just doesn't get any better.
Should you comment about 3 of your former players starting last night for the Orioles?
I guess when we got back to the hotel and I got a couple of texts that you had 3 guys in the lineup, I got a little giddy. That was kind of exciting. Then I started tracking to find out what they did, and you got B-Rob at second and Tollison in left, Pierce is in right, and then all of a sudden you see the highlights. Pierce has got 5 RBIs. I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy, but that's exciting. I mean, it really is. It's nice to have your former players do well in life, whether it's in the big leagues or whether they're a CEO. But that was a little bit of fun last night.
Very sort of related to what you were saying yesterday. Jim Tillman was saying yesterday as well that if some of these guys saw you back when those guys were here, they wouldn't recognize you.
Well, I was an old school guy. Yeah. I played when I was an athlete, and maybe not a very good one during the day, but that's the way it was. All the coaches were taskmasters, and it was keep your mouth shut, run through a wall, the whole deal, and nobody quit, nobody transferred. None of that stuff ever happened in the past, and I was a product of that environment. And as time went on, I realized that I was going to have to change, and certainly those guys and Coach Tolman, some of those guys says you got to let go a little bit. You know you can win without being the toughest guy in the country, and I think I'm at a better place. I revert back once in a while, but I'm in a better place.
But you're still the toughest guy in the country.
Well, I don't know if I'm that or not.
Is there one thing about tomorrow night's game that, you know, I know it's baseball and all kind of crazy things can happen, but is there one thing that you put your finger on that's kind of just a key to winning tomorrow night?
Probably the key, and you know, when I tell you this, it won't be the key, but I think the key is we got to figure out how to try to create some offense against Johnson. I mean, you know, I made this comparison already. I mean, he's like Andy Pettit to me. The guy's phenomenal. He's going to be a big leaguer. He's highly rated. He's a first-round draft pick. They got some really good arms, and he certainly is one of them. And you got to figure out how to get some runs if you're going to win. And you know, hopefully we play good D. We get a great outing from Roth, but he stuffed us pretty good in the SEC tournament. We got some pretty good swings early, and then it was lights out. He shut it down after that.
Coach, having taken it the last 2 years, are there any superstitions here in Omaha, places you have to go, things you have to do to kind of keep the same routine?
Well, there's a few things. I like kind of going to the same places, but I haven't made it to the Drover yet. I'm going to make that trip, and I'll probably do a carriage ride. So, you know, that's you got to be a man to get in a carriage. And I had my picture snapped a couple times last year riding in that carriage with my daughters. I'm getting back in it.
All right, so what is it about the Drover, though? What do you like about the Drover?
Well, it's just it's the whole atmosphere. Certainly the whiskey filet is outstanding, but it's just a place to be.
Is it the whiskey or the filet?
The filet, Phil.
Hey,
It's the whiskey for the media members.
Yeah.